That's right.
And all animals.
That's right. Justin Timberlake. Celebrities who have the breed, actually, pit bulls, and so they really understand. But there are a lot of celebrities who lend their name to causes and just care about animal in general.
Jon Stewart.
Alicia
Silverstone, Jamie Foxx, Jessica Biel, and Jessica Alba. They all have they're all responsible owners of pit bulls.
Pugs, and I mean the lady on Fox in the morning, Jillian.
Oh, Jillian
she's got like 2 or 3 dogs from the pound. There's so many people who get it.
Yes,
and they know, but I'm not connected like that. That's why I really applaud you and thank you so much for having me on your show to just, speak about how I feel about it.
Yes, well, I'm glad you are, and I'm glad you're out there to affect the change of how we deal with dogs or animals and making them a sport.
Right.
And
it's not a sport.
It's not a sport.
It's a crime. It's a crime.
There you go. There you have it.
No doubt.
Now, tell us how legendary sports figure Wilt Chamberlain fits into this whole mix.
Well, must have been 1980.
And you were hanging out in Kansas.
No, actually, I wish I was, but I was hanging out in Santa Monica at the Santa Monica Athletic Club at the time. I was a teaching pro, the racquetball teaching pro at the club, and I taught a lot of people how to play racquetball. Dick
really?
Yeah, a lot of celebrities used to belong to that club, and see, when I came from Chicago in 1980, I had this idea because I'd been to film school, Vietnam vet, used my Vietnam GI Bill to go to film school at Chicago Academy of Fine Arts and learn photography and what have you. But I knew in order to really affect the world, you got to go to Hollywood, just like all the actors. Everybody needs to go to Hollywood, right? So I had this plan as I was going to come to Hollywood because I had started playing racquetball in Chicago, and I won a couple of tournaments, and there wasn't a lot of black people playing racquetball. So I said, I remember Bill Cosby and I Spy, right? Him and Robert Culp. They used to travel and meet all these people, and they were playing tennis. And I was like, wow, racquetball's a new sport, cutting edge, and I'm a pro. I'm winning. I'm playing. And I really thought I was a pro until I saw the guys on the tour,
right?
Who like dusted me, But that was my into Hollywood. So I became the teaching pro at the Santa Monica Athletic Club, and I met a lot of people, and it was really great. And it was so funny because I would try to talk to people about film, but no one understood and had ever seen a black filmmaker. Eddie Murphy broke the way to photograph an African American person on screen. When Eddie Murphy did Roxanne. Right. That was the first time since Sidney Poitier that you saw a black person jump off the screen. Because they put the extra light on him. They did all of this stuff to make him look good.
You have to have a different light for people of color.
Absolutely.
For the skin. Back in the day when I was on stage, if there was a certain light, those gels, you put the gels in the lights or whatever. If a certain light came down, you could look ashy. A black person could look ashy on stage.
Totally.
So you have to warm it up a little bit.
You got to.
And you have to have that eye, and you have that eye.
Absolutely. I've watched for years, and I was really happy not just for Eddie's comedy and artistry, but, he changed the way that they photographed African Americans in the movies. To me, I mean, Sidney Poitier, the Godfather, of course, he had Lilies of the Field. They photographed him, but he didn't jump off the screen like we do now. When you see Will Smith, that couldn't have happened 30, 40 years ago. He wouldn't have that kind of look. So, so anyway, that was my plan to come to Hollywood. So the thing was, I had talked to a lot of people for about a year or 2 or 3 years or something like that about making these, African American stories, like, hey, I can be big. And do Spike Lee came out with She's Gotta Have It.
Yeah.
And I must have had at least 15, 20 people who I'd known for years coming up to me. Hey, Foster, I saw you got your movie made, huh? Oh. I saw you on TV. I couldn't believe it. I was like, because no one had ever talked to them about, urban movies, African American stories.
Yes.
And, they had never seen a black filmmaker. No one had ever talked that. And getting back to Wilt Chamberlain, I hung out with Wilt, and what happened was the way I met Wilt, Wilt came into the club, and I was playing, and with racquetball, they have glass walls, and you play in the glass room. And he hadn't ever seen a African American playing racquetball, and he wouldn't admit that. He wouldn't say it. And so he asked me, because he found out I was the teaching pro. So he asked me. He told me, and this is in Wilt's competitive way. He didn't want a lesson. He just wanted to hit the ball. So you want to hit the ball, so we ended up hitting the ball.
Just hit the ball. Yeah, you don't need to teach me anything.
Right. We hit the ball like twice a day for about 4 months,
And then, how did Amazing Feats of Wilt Chamberlain come about?
Well, because again, I was on this Hollywood mission, right? So racquetball was my thing, but my soul was always planted in film, Mm-hmm. And we started talking about him, and he was my idol. He's right. The greatest. And so he had a friend in Oregon, and Wilt was a different kind of guy. He was so intelligent. He had 5 different languages. He was just way more intelligent than people gave him a lot of credit for. So he would categorize people. So I was the only guy that he really hung out with. Everybody knows his legendary stories of women and what have you. He was Valentino for sure. He had the attraction, tall, dark, handsome, rich, language, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But, so he categorized me as his buddy and playing racquetball together and stuff. And he did not want me to move out of that in his realm. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until the movie Conan really that he started allowing my film side to grow. Our relationship didn't go in the film direction. It was in the personal partners.
Right.
We traveled the world and do
totally
stuff and play
yes.
racquetball. And with the documentary, that was the first thing that we did. It was a couple of different things. It was focused on him, again, because of his ego.
The Amazing Feats of Wilt
right.
Chamberlain.
Yes, it was his ego, and it's a great piece.
How big was that ego?
Oh, it was big, but it was well-deserved, Yeah. He was an amazing guy. I can't say enough about Wilt Chamberlain, and so that's how that started, and he did a little cameo in a film, a little cult film I made called Yo Alien, which was about where the Roswell spaceship crashed, where it was at 3 hours before it crashed in Roswell in 1947.
Oh, how funny.
It was in Compton. And
Of course. It all originates from Compton.
That's right. And these 3 aliens, abducted this old black farmhand named Moses Jones, and he had 3 bottles of wine with him, and they got drunk and had sex, and the reason that they crashed in Roswell is because they were flying DUI.
Hilarious. Yeah, so, how can we pick that up? Well, we could go to barkthemovie.com.
Yeah, and contact me because I haven't made a distribution deal for it, so it's
okay. I'm LaFern Cusack here on 710 ESPN, LA Sports Leader. I'm talking to cinematographer, director, writer Foster Quarter, and he has this great film coming out, Conversations with a Pit Bull. And we are changing the way we think of pit bulls and how we treat pit bulls. And it's all about how we treat the animal.
Period.
And people constantly say, well, pit bulls they're going to turn on you no matter what you do. It is always the owner. It's the owner. It's your responsibility. So where do you see this going once you get it completed? How do you see it affecting change in the world?
I see it affecting change by the same way that other films affect change, because it will be a conversation. It will be talked about at the water cooler. It will be talked about at work. It will be talked about at different events. It will be talked about on the radio and on television, just because in order for change to happen, it has to be talked about. It has to become a issue. There's a film called Juno, and about the girl who got pregnant and had to make a choice. Well, I mean, what a brilliant idea. What a brilliant little movie.
Right.
And people have been talking about right to choose, right to life, but no one ever put it in a entertaining, educational, unbiased
blockbuster way. Yeah.
So, I mean, and regardless of whether you're pro-life or not or whatever, the movie
takes you through it.
Yeah, and it allows people to talk about the subject without, it having to be an argument, because you can't put the abortion people and the pro-life people in the same room, in the same block, in the same neighborhood. No.
Right.
So here it is. People can.
There are many layers.
Yeah. So, and that's the same thing, because there are people who are just saying, ban the breed, ban pit bulls. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. Ban crazy people. That's what we need to ban. Ban ignorance.
Right. Ban ignorance. Yeah. Thank you so much. Foster Quarter, how can we get in touch with you again and also help again with conversations with a pit bull and to stop dog fighting?
That's right. BarkTheMovie.com. B-A-R-K, like a dog barking outside the window. BarkTheMovie, MOVIE.com, or you can just look Foster Quarter on Google. I'm all over there. And also, the last thing I do want to say is, in an effort, in case any of the wonderful sports athletes and the hundreds of them that we have out here making millions of dollars, or any of the wonderful Hollywood types that we have.
If you have an extra $100,000 laying around.
Who, in case that doesn't happen and no one wants to fund the movie, I'm starting a crowdfunding campaign very soon. And that will allow the general public to donate or contribute. I hate the word donate because it's a contribution to a cause, and the movie is really about three causes. And you can contribute from $10 to $1,000, and that'll be on the internet, and you'll be hearing more about it. I'll be most likely doing it on a site called Indiegogo, and that's where independent filmmakers, artists, storytellers, record artists, and what have you, who aren't connected can use social media to try to raise some money to do your art.
Yes.
And I'll be out there. So it'll be under Conversations with a Pitbull, and you'll be hearing about it. So, but go to BarkTheMovie.com and we'll keep you abreast.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mr. Foster Quarter. Again, Conversations with a Pitbull, and you're definitely affecting change and taking the sport out of dog fighting. Thank you so much for sharing your story. If you would like more information